I can see it all so clearly now.
I think about the side that's look better on my waist. I think my nuts look better on her face. This bitch got addicted, all she did was take a taste. Now you get mad because you got...
Now, one thing that always intrigued me about Marvel Comics and Dragon Ball is that they might be fun to watch, but if you compare Dragon Ball to Marvel and how it handles the fights, it's very basic. I mean, 90% of the time, if not much more, Dragon Ball is basically just powering up, chatting out, yelling, punching each other, and firing energy attacks at each other. And then yes, every once in a while we do get to see something like Hit and the lag skipping capability, we get to see Beerus and the Hakai technique, or Majin Buu and the Candy Beam, but apart from that, it's very basic. So I was thinking, what if Goku obtained one of the many forms of energy in the Marvel Universe known as the Power Cosmic? Some popular Power Cosmic characters are like Thanos, the Silver Surfer, Galactus, Terrax, Nova, even Aunt May, like the auntie of Spider-Man, became a herald. She actually wielded the Power Cosmic, as did Superman in a crossover. So if all these characters also obtain this, why wouldn't Goku be able to as well, you know? Now, one thing to keep in mind is that not all Power Cosmic wielders can use the same abilities, but majority of them can do the basics. So you can think of it kind of like a trial and a pro membership, you know? So the trial one, you get the most basic stuff, but if you want the really good shit, you need to grind for it, right? But Goku off the bat would be able to do several simple things like change his size from microscopic to gigantic, can regenerate limbs, and you know, if he gets cut apart, or like Hit, could also phase through solid objects. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and find out what Goku would be able to do if he obtained the Power Cosmic. Now, as I mentioned, one of the most basic abilities is like being able to shapeshift or shrinking yourself. Norin Rad has been able to do this to an extent that even atoms appear as large as solar systems. And if you were able to shrink yourself down to that size, you might even be able to see an average Screw Attack fan's brain. Alright, it's a joke, don't get the pitchforks, man. But one of the abilities that Goku would more than likely have trouble with is matter manipulation, which a vast majority of the Power Cosmic users can actually use, which is, you know, basically rearranging molecules to take form of something else. And we've seen this because characters have been able to turn like sand into gold, or vice versa, or even like napkin into a gold bar, or it can deatomize people. Or another example, like with Buu, he can like turn people into candy or other types of food, like that one time he turned this guy into milk or something and gave it to this blind kid. But if Goku had this ability, he'd more than likely be able to turn like someone or something into virtually anything. And the reason I say that this might be a bit harder for him to control is because Goku's never really dealt with those kind of hacks before. And I mean, we saw this a lot during his battle against Beerus and Jiren, because with the God form, Goku was like, okay, this great power, but it doesn't even feel like it's my own body, which is why he was stumbling around. But then as the battle went on, he was like, okay, I'm getting used to this now, I'm getting the hang of it. But then with Ultra Instinct, you know, he had no clue what the hell he was doing, and that is why he had to learn to attack instinctively rather than thinking about it, because that's like a big no-no. You're supposed to let your body do it on its own. But if Goku gets more and more experience with it, then I believe he'd, you know, basically have a breeze with this new ability. And another good thing about like these hacks is that even though Dragon Ball has like this thing about, oh, haha, I'm more chatty than you, I have more raw power, so your ability doesn't work on me. That doesn't really work all the time in Marvel. There are some abilities that are counteracted by raw power, sometimes they're better defenses, but sometimes they do take the route of, oh, okay, like, you might be more powerful than me, but I can use these hacks to turn the tide, right? So, theoretically, Goku could use his manipulation capabilities on his opponents if they're more powerful than him. But I mean, who said that all the Power Cosmic abilities have to be combat-based? I mean, there are some that can actually help Goku out a lot in training, or if he's in some really huge trouble. I mean, we've all seen that Goku has had, like, you know, he needs oxygen, he needs an atmosphere, and we even saw this in the revival of Frieza battle, where Frieza was trying to, like, you know, choke him out and, you know, drown him, but with the Power Cosmic, a character can actually manipulate the atmosphere, or even remove or add oxygen in a place where there is normally no oxygen. So Goku would be able to breathe in space or in a water like combat environment. And gravity, I mean, that's a big part of the Saiyans. They need high gravity to train, so if Goku really wants to, he can just amplify the gravity wherever he's training, and boom, he gets a lot more gains. Or if he's facing off against another villain, then he can just like heavily increase or heavily decrease the gravity so it can screw them over. Now these abilities would be very useful in battle, but there's another big one that I believe Goku would have a lot of fun with and would actually help him out a lot more. One of his biggest problems that we've seen is that he can get to his friends on time, or also when he is, trying to find someone's key. It doesn't always work because there might be some dimension in the way. And a good example of this was when Goku and Vegeta were like, okay, we should like teleport to Trunks, we should help him out. And Goku couldn't even sense his key because this damn dimensional rift from Goku Black was in the way, so he couldn't even teleport. And also when he was gonna go try to save Kale and Caulifla during like the Pride Trooper episode, where they put a dimension over it, Goku was like, okay, I can't sense their key. But with the power Cosmic, Goku would not only be able to open dimensions and portals, but he could also sense energy within other dimensions and in effect teleport to it. And we have seen this in like a couple of Marvel comics where the Silver Surfer, for example, has been like, okay, I can sense that Mephisto is up to something in his domain. And Mephisto and many characters within Marvel have like their own dimensions, which have their own space and time continuums and are completely separate from the main Marvel universe. And even so, Norin could still teleport to it and even sense energy from there. So essentially, Goku would have zero excuse to not getting to his buddies on time to be like, why didn't you get to us earlier? Oh, I couldn't sense your key. Bullshit, bro. Like, we know you can sense across dimensions. You're just slacking. And although this ability isn't so directly linked to the power Cosmic itself, it can amplify someone's processing and, mapping abilities because, for example, Norin Rad has insane processing speeds. I mean, he stated that he can, like, track molecules across galaxies away, and he's also been able to process information, while simultaneously flying at MFTL speeds, mapping and tracking billions of stars in a couple of seconds. So, although it isn't very likely for Goku to also have those insane speeds, he definitely have a really good amp to his awareness. Because, I mean, he already has really decent awareness. I mean, he's able to, like, sense ki across galaxies, although his reach isn't, like, as well as it could be. Moving on, within the manga, we have seen that Goku actually has access to the Hakai technique, which allows him to destroy not only someone's soul, but entire existence. So, like, they can't even be brought back into the afterlife. Like, they're completely gone from that, timeline or, universe in general. And although not all power Cosmic users have, like, the same abilities like that Norin has, because he arguably has, like, the most advanced ones. So, for example, Norin has been able to fight people, like, outside of his body before, like, in the astral plane, and has also been able to, like, exit out of his own body at will and destroy someone's soul, I guess, like, remotely. So, since Goku already does have soul manipulation capabilities, then it wouldn't be so far-fetched for him to develop more soul abilities with the power Cosmic. Next up is where we get to the territory of, this might not be really likely for Goku to obtain, but it might be worth mentioning, and that is time travel and time manipulation capabilities. Now, the reason I say it might not be so likely for Goku to obtain it is because even many heralds who also have the power Cosmic don't have this ability, and the Silver Surfer is like really the only one that I've seen that uses it to like a really wide extent. And for example, Nova, another herald, was like, what? Like, I didn't know we could time travel. I didn't know we could do that. So either they aren't aware that they could, time travel, or they don't have that ability and they don't really touch up on it. And I think it is because Galactus gives like his most loyal or most like competent heralds the better stuff, right? As I say, like the trial membership and the pro membership. If you want the really good stuff, you gotta show that you're, worth it. So, but for example, Norin has shown that he can like time travel just by flying really fast, kind of like how Silver Age Superman did it, and he can also retrace his steps in the past or another point in time where he's been before. He's even stated that he has awareness simultaneously of the past, the present, and the future all at the same time. So if Goku had this, he'd be able to like go back in time at will just by flying really fast, or can also go back to another point in time and retrace his steps. He'd be like, okay, I was here before, I did this, and he can learn from it. Another thing that Norin, Rad, and other heralds have shown is that they can manipulate energy and even redirect attacks that are, thrown at them, and they can release it with much more power at their opponents. So instead of Goku having to charge a Kamehameha wave at his opponent, he can literally just absorb their power and then just like redirect it with even more force. And instead of Goku having to use like the Spirit Bomb to pose for several minutes, empower himself up or make an even stronger attack, he can literally just absorb the power at will from celestial bodies like the sun or other planets or living things. He does not need to do that ridiculous pose all the time, so it'd be a lot more easier for him to become stronger and to get energy if he needs to. And there are way more abilities that Goku would also be able to obtain, but I mean, majority of them aren't really like helpful because he already has them in one way or another. For example, telepathy and telekinesis. Goku has shown that since like early Dragon Ball. Healing, Goku has shown that several times. I mean, we've seen it in the Tournament of Power where he revived Master Roshi, and other characters have also been able to do that as well. So, but apart from that, Goku would be immensely overpowered, and if he was in the Marvel verse with the Power Cosmic and all these abilities that he already has, he'd be ridiculously overpowered. Like, he'd probably like shit stomp the entire celestial race, like no difficulty. And if you guys want to see a video on that, then I can definitely make it. Now, before I finish this off, for those that have been on my channel for a while, you might already know which video I made in the past, which is Silver Surfer versus Goku. And I did that like a long time ago, and I was thinking, okay, why not make a rematch, because Silver Surfer and Goku have both gone much more powerful since I made that video, so why not do a twist on it and have the Power Cosmic Goku against this new Silver Surfer. And if you guys don't know which one I'm talking about, it's the one from the Thanos Wins comic series where he actually obtains Thor's hammer and becomes worthy of it and becomes a lot more powerful. He actually becomes like the Black Surfer, which I think is pretty cool. But other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed this What If. It was really enjoyable for me to make, and I will definitely do more Marvel and Dragon Ball Z crossovers in the future. But please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you thoughties next time. Peace out.